Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Addams Family Values. And this movie came out in 1993, and it's a sequel to The Addams Family from 1991. I don't know which one I like better. I like them about the same. I have basically the same experience as I did with the first movie. The cast was great, and it has all the same cast returning. It's just the same thing, really. And it's a few minutes shorter. I like the tone of the movie. It captures what I would want in a Addams Family movie. And the comedy was very funny to me, and there are moments where I was laughing out loud and having a great time with it. And the pacing was pretty quick at moments, for sure. And there's so many ideas in this movie that's just really funny to me. Like the idea to just to have this kind of be somewhat of a love story, but to have something kind of sinister going on. That was just really, really funny to me. And there's so many moments that I can just think of that I loved. And there were actually moments in this movie where I thought it was kind of cute, like a Wednesday and with that one boy. Like those scenes were kind of cute, and they caught me off guard a little bit. And there were some obvious green screen moments, just like in the first movie, but only once, surprisingly, or at least when it was distracting to me. And I kind of wanted to touch on this because I didn't talk about this in my review of the first movie, but the first movie had a $30 million budget and grossed $191 million roughly. And this movie had a bigger budget but grossed less. They spent $17 million more but made roughly $80 million less. So, not the best, and probably why the same cast didn't return for a third movie. I believe they did make a third movie, but no one seemed interested in doing that one. So, instead, we got just these two with the same cast and all that story that's attached to it. And there was one moment in the movie where they made a reference to The Fly. Be afraid, be very afraid. The David Cronenberg remake, not the original, for those who are curious. And obviously, this movie, it definitely feels like a 90s movie, and there are so many moments sprinkled throughout where you have to think to yourself, and this should be pretty obvious to anyone who watches it. This movie, it came out in the 90s and had to be made in the 90s and released in the 90s because if it were made today, it wouldn't work nearly as well. It would just feel out of place. And one thing that I forgot to mention was the director, Barry Sonnenfeld, if I pronounced that correctly. I believe when I was talking about the first movie, I didn't actually recognize his name. And that's because he hasn't directed a movie in a while. I was actually kind of somewhat familiar with him, and he not only did the first Addams Family movie, which was his first feature film, by the way, if you can even believe that. I had no idea that was the case until I looked it up. And then he did this, and he also directed the Men in Black trilogy, which I enjoyed, and I was like, oh wow, I'm actually familiar with his work. And he also directed Wild Wild West with Will Smith. That was bad, and I haven't seen Nine Lives yet with Kevin Spacey, but I heard that was pretty bad, and I believe that was the last movie he directed. I'm not sure if he's going to be directing movies ever again because of that movie, but we'll see what happens. And like the first movie, there's like no plot to the movie, really. There's just a bunch of scenes of random things happening just for the sake of some jokes. There's like 3 storylines going on in this movie, and they all feel like they belong in different episodes. And honestly, this whole movie, it just felt like a stretched out version of an Addams Family episode. They had an idea, took the idea, and stretched it out into a 90-minute film, which is not the worst idea ever. There's plenty of entertaining ideas that this movie has and comes up with, and made it fun to watch. The scenes in the summer camp were a bit dull for me. Those were my least favorite parts about the movie, and I just didn't really care all that much. It was kind of funny at first and had some funny ideas and moments, but overall, it was just the stuff that I was invested in the least. I was more invested in what was going on with Gomez and Patricia Addams and that whole subplot. And there was a moment where Gomez like passed out. And that was like the funniest part of the entire movie for me. Just the way it works in concept and also how it's performed and acted. And just, it was gold, in my opinion. But that's about all I have to say about Addams Family Values. It was fun. It was enjoyable. I liked it. Will I see it again? Probably someday. Am I in any rush to see it again? No, but it's a nice time capsule movie that was fun. And for a 90s movie that's not an original idea, I will say that it's in ways not the worst movie that could have come out. And also, I know there was a big push in the 90s for original ideas, and it was always original films that made the most money, whereas the kind of sequels and remakes didn't make nearly as much as original films. But in today, it's kind of the opposite. But I will say that as far as movies that were unoriginal and also a sequel, I would say well, it's not as good as some of the classics from the 90s that came out around the time. Nowhere near as good as something like Pulp Fiction, Silence of the Lambs, Seven, Fight Club, etc., etc. Like, so many great movies from that decade. And while it's nowhere near as good as those movies, I will say it's definitely aged a lot better as some cynical sequels and unoriginal ideas that not only surrounded it at the time, but also followed it. So I can definitely have some appreciation for it for that. And that's about all I have to say. So check this movie out. It's definitely enjoyable and nice, simple entertainment is what I would describe it as, and check it out. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Addams Family Values a 6 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below your thought of Addams Family Values and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for May. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.